Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marianna, where I'm going to teach you everything spirituality, self-development, and psychology-wise. Today, I wanted to talk about the very interesting topic of the game of life. And this is something that a lot of us don't understand, or a lot of us haven't been awakened to. But this is something that I've been awakened to for a long time, and it's just the concept of taking this knowledge that a lot of people, at least in my realm of the internet and stuff like that, have been awakened to. And it is up to you to take these principles and take these lessons and apply them to your life. I don't know if I want that light on or not. I can't tell what looks better. Anyways, so basically realizing that life is a game and we live in a matrix. The assumptions that you have about your life is what's going to show up in your reality. Every lesson will continue to show up in your life until it is something that you learn, and then you can move to the next level. And what I mean by this is that if you feel like you have something that continuously shows up in your life over and over again, you're like, why do I keep attracting the same kind of people in my life? Why do I keep attracting the same situations into my life? And how do I change this? How do I close the gap between who I am right now and who I want to be, the highest version of myself? And to do that is, once you start striving towards this higher version of yourself and your highest self, you're going to see probably the same situations, and you're like, I I should be on this different timeline. I should be my high self. Different things should be happening in my life. It's because you have to learn those lessons, and you are attracting the same people in your life because of you. Your beliefs and your assumptions about the world, about yourself, will continue to show up in your life until you change those and you learn the lesson that you needed to learn. And this has taken me a long time to kind of realize and fathom, kind of like, what do you mean everything that I believe and every experience that I have in my life has shown up because of me? And realizing that you are on certain energy levels, you are on certain frequencies, and you attract certain things in your life because of who you are internally, is one of the biggest realizations you have to come to. And it will genuinely change your life. And also realizing that some of the beliefs and some of the thoughts you have about your past and about your experiences and who you are and who you identify as, you do not need to hold on to anymore. You can let that stuff go. And to do that, it's best done through meditation and through prayer. When your brain is the most susceptible to new information is when you're in that meditative state, when you're in the theta wave, when you're in between awakeness and asleepness, like falling asleep. This is where you can imprint new ideas onto your subconscious and new experiences onto your subconscious. So before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, get into the meditative state, or you're just falling asleep, just imagine your highest self and imagine, what are her daily routines, his or her daily routines. What does she do on a day-to-day basis? What are her thoughts? What are her patterns? How does she approach situations? And realize those. Act as if you're having a conversation with this highest version of yourself and step into those experiences. Step into the identity as someone who has that, because you are not going to close the gap simply by wishing. You're never going to close the gap simply by wishing. You have to step into that identity and change your thoughts first before you see anything change externally. And these lessons might appear in your life over and over again until you learn it. Because honestly, life is just lessons. Like, you are consciousness, you are the universe, God, whatever, experiencing itself. So when you realize that we are made up of the same particles that the universe is made up of, we are the same particles that are out in space, and everything that has come together, everything on this earth, and we are all kind of one, you can realize that you have the power to create your reality, and you have the power to change. And all these experiences that you've had up until now do not have to define you moving forward. You can move past those and be like, I'm not that person anymore. I went from being the most shy, insecure. I wasn't happy with my body. I wasn't happy with the way I looked. I got this really terrible haircut my freshman year of high school, and I was just like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And now, sitting here after my freshman year of college, I'm like, I'm exactly the person that I envisioned then. And it's just taking the steps to become that version of yourself, and realize that everything that happens to you in your life happens to you for a reason, to build up and to learn and to become the version of yourself with more wisdom, with more information under your belt and more life experiences under your belt, to continue to grow and become the highest version of yourself. And there is no end goal, really. We are always growing, and we are always changing, and we are always learning new stuff. I'm only 20 years old. I don't know everything that I need to know yet. I am pretty much at the start of my life, the start of my career, the start of everything that is going to happen in my life. And how exciting that there's more wisdom to come, and there's more things to learn. And even if you are on the older side and you're listening to this, there is still experiences for you to learn, and there is still stuff for you to, like, stuff you can change. You can change your life. And by doing this, by changing your identity, if when I was super shy and super insecure, I just started being like, okay, what would the person who was super confident and has no trouble talking to people, how would they think and how would they act? And you don't have to start big with this, if because you can just, your brain kind of takes evidence and sees like, oh, I can do this, and then it becomes more hardwired into your brain because your brain likes evidence. That's the moral of the story. So once you start doing the small things, and you're like, I started just walking with my head up in the hallways. That was the first thing, making eye contact with people, because I had a problem with that too. And once I started doing that, I was like, wait, I know how to do that. You can move up to the next level and keep expanding your world and expanding your wisdom and your knowledge and your experiences. And this is how you can apply this to everything. You can apply this to your career. You can apply this to just anything that you want in this life. You can start small, just start. And expand it out later. The concept of always waiting until you're ready, that is never there. You're never gonna be fully ready for anything. Sometimes you have to just step onto the other side of fear and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Because fear is something that is always gonna live within this realm, and you just have to get over that, and you have to step into, okay, I can do this even though fear is, a little bit of anxiety is there. You have to start when you have the idea, not when you feel like you're ready, because that's another law of life. You're never going to be completely ready for anything. Sometimes you just have to take your shot and hope that everything works out. And yeah, let me see. Let me look at my journal and see what other things I have. Basically, you must learn lessons and shed old identities to become the next version of yourself. And you can do that just simply switching your thoughts. Every time you have a negative thought of, oh, I'm this insecure person, or whatever it is that you're trying to change, that was in my case, you can just flip that and be like, no, I'm confident. And once you build up this habit of changing your thoughts, it's going to be something that just naturally comes to you eventually. Yes, it might be hard in the beginning, but it's like building up any habit is it's going to take it takes 60 days to build a habit. So once it becomes a habit, you're just going to start naturally having those thoughts and naturally identifying it yourself as that, and therefore attracting experiences that that individual would have. And just because you're acting as if, you're going to approach situations differently, you're going to approach experiences differently, and just approach day to day differently, and therefore your experiences will change. That is my little rant on how life is a game and how to really build up into your dream reality. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments below, and I will be so happy to answer them and come back next time for another video. Thank you so much.